Hi, welcome to the Briones Pickleball Podcast. Today, I have Kate and Nima on the same side as me.
That's right.
We have possibly the most special guest that we may have on this show. Pro pickleball player.
Not just any pro pickleball player, though.
Number 2, soon to be number 1 in the world. Let's call that out.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Riley Newman.
Thank you, boys. What an intro, huh? Come
yeah.
on. Thank you very much.
Riley. What I was gonna say, I said Riley. I was gonna say your middle name. What is your middle name?
Boy, we're getting right into the gossip.
Oh, yeah.
It's Riley Carl Newman.
Carl.
Yep. My dad's middle name was Carl, and his dad's name was Carl. Keep it in the family tradition, and so it's Riley Carl Newman.
That's wild, because I know Cody's middle name is Michael, but that's just because it's your dad's first name.
First name, yeah.
That's so funny.
Yep. So now you guys got my driver's license info, so there you go. Use it at will.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when I'm mad at you, I know what to call you now.
That's it.
Yeah.
Please use it wisely. I'm only leaving the Riley Carl for my mom, though.
All right.
Fair enough.
So jumping right in, this is going to be an amazing podcast. Again, Riley's been on the scene for probably 5-6 years now.
Yeah.
And he's been at the top of the game. Super excited to have him in the studio. Really, Riley, I thought you were going to bail on me last minute, but I am very appreciative, dude.
You know, a little rain in Arizona cannot keep me away. This is what I'm used to in Seattle. But when you guys called, I answered the bell. I'm happy to be here, so let's do it.
Dude, okay, so let's jump right in, and your Mr. Newman is coming off a PPA mixed doubles gold.
Let's go. Yeah.
With Anna Bright. And so new partnership for you. We're going to get into a lot of other things, Riley. But so far, you guys have played a few tournaments now, 3.
Two of them.
Or 2.
Yeah.
Okay. How is that partnership going, and how is it different? I want to know how it's different than playing with your sister.
Well, it's different in a lot of different reasons. First of all, Anna is really, really comfortable on that right side. And so now we kind of play more of the traditional mix where the girls are kind of dinking cross court, and I'm kind of looking to insert myself when the time is appropriate. When I played with Lindsay was really good on the left side. And so you kind of saw that where Lindsay was dinking straight ahead with the girl.
Yes,
I would come in with my 2-handed back in the middle. So it was just different point construction.
Yeah.
But now with Anna, obviously why I went with her is just she's a stud. She really honestly gives me the best chance to win.
Yeah.
I obviously miss playing with Lindsay. She's doing the mommy thing. She's got 2 kids under 2. Right. She's a total baller of a mom, and so she's only playing a handful of tournaments, kind of staying on the West Coast. So a lot of people ask, why are we not playing together? She's doing the mommy thing, and I'm kind of taking this full time. So Anna's available on all year round, all around the country, and early on, I think our first tournament we got a bronze, and then our second one we got a gold. So just a few little adjustments here and there, and we came out on top. It was good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super awesome, man. And we actually a couple episodes ago we talked about the era of the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
And obviously Ben and Lee, they've been winning a lot, triple crowning it up, and they got upset this week.
Yeah.
By the Johnsons.
I'll be honest, Riley. Every week we do predictions for like what we think is going to kind of what the podium will look like. Every week, I take you to take gold.
Wow,
all right,
Kaden.
I'm like, you know what?
I don't know if you're just saying this because I'm standing next to you, but this is a good feeling.
Every week, I always say, you know what? I got to take my boy, number 1,
hometown
and
hero.
Number 2, the last 2 tournaments have been in Arizona, and I know. There's nothing you love more than playing in front of your home crowd fans.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
So like the last 2 weeks, I have told Jordan every week, whether it's mixed or whether it's a men's, I'm like, I am taking the one and only.
That's documented, by the way. On the previous pods, he picked you twice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kaden, that definitely does warm my heart a little bit. But having my family here, I'm the middle of 7 siblings, so 6 of the 7 siblings live in Arizona, and so they were all out full force. They even had some signs in the crowd.
Yeah.
I heard them all weekend long, so it's really, truly special when they're there because honestly, 25 events. They can't make it to every tournament. And so it was really special playing in front of them. And hopefully I represented the Newman clan well.
Oh, we know you did. Now, going off of hometown, there have been some recent reports that you are leaving the beautiful Arizona And, there are some upset people about it. I'm not going to name names, but
Starting with us.
preferably, us and Cody and, definitely some of the fans out here in Arizona. But talk us a little bit through,
If you can.
if you want to, where you're going, why you're going, how you're going, who, what, when, where, why.
This is a sad moment for us three. We like to, get out there on the court once in a while and bang that wiffle ball around. But it was time. It was time for a new change of scenery. I've been in Arizona for 3.5 years. I've loved it. The people I've met have been remarkable.
Yeah.
But I am moving a little bit further southeast. I'm moving to the great state of Texas. I'm going to be moving out there in early March.
Yeah.
And I'm really pumped. It's a really, really nice house. It's kind of situated along some golf courses, some pickleball courts.
You said situated on some golf courses. Did you hear
It's
how
really pumped.
slid that in
man.
there?
I'm really excited. It's going to be good for travel. I mean, that's kind of one of the bigger reasons why is
Definitely
we're
more
going from
central.
Florida to California. It's going to be anywhere in 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'm closer to actually one of my older sisters as well. She's out there. And so I'm looking forward to it. It'll be in that Dallas area. It's called The Colony. So very close to like Frisco.
Cool.
Okay.
So I'm pumped. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So is it true? I've heard this. Is it true that the Newman clan kind of shrickles
They
together?
move together.
Can you tell us a little bit about that maybe?
We're a full force, yeah. So we all started in like the Seattle, Whidbey Island area.
Yeah.
I first was the one that moved to California. I
Right.
was like, oh my gosh, I'm waking up with sunshine, beautiful girls all the time.
Yeah.
You guys should like venture south. And so my oldest sister, she moved down to LA as well. And then slowly but surely, Lindsay was to Arizona. And then Lindsay was like, hey, you should move to Arizona. It's much cheaper.
Yeah.
The weather's great. Pickleball is awesome. And then I bought a house in Arizona. And then every other week, I felt like my siblings, one of my siblings is moving down to
We have
Arizona.
6 of them, right? So it's like,
It's a ton. So hopefully now I'm going to Texas. We'll slowly, merge that way as well.
Don't tell me that. Yeah.
now does taxes have anything to do with it?
No.
Really? Okay.
No.
Just wanted a new change.
Just wanted a new change.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. And the house, compared to what it is in Arizona, it's very, very nice.
Are you building a court or no? You can't.
No, actually, the community has 2 pickleball courts. So first thing I'm gonna do when I move to Texas is buy a golf cart. And a 29-year-old with a golf cart driving around. I feel like I'm already
a Tesla now.
70. But no, I'm gonna drive the golf cart over to the pickleball courts and just get after it while I practice.
Damn.
Okay.
Are you gonna pimp that golf cart out?
Oh, it's gonna be so pimped.
Dude, just ask for Takea to
Pimp my ride, golf cart style.
just ask Takea to wrap it.
Deck it out.
Takea wrap.
Yeah.
Okay, Takea, if you're listening, wrap my golf cart.
Dude, that would be sick.
That would be sick.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put like a Bugatti logo on
They
it.
do have like this parade. I saw in like my community, like every July 4th, they have like a,
You're in Arizona?
no, in Texas.
Oh, no
They
way.
like bring out the USA flags. They're playing country music, cowboy hats on, cowboy boots, and they'd like take their golf carts around the community. It's like a parade of golf carts, and they just pimp it out. So
That sounds like something you would absolutely love too.
I'm like leading the charge.
Yeah.
Be ready.
Are you a country what are you, Riley?
Yeah, I like all types of music.
Oh, okay.
Hip hop, country. But yeah, like one of my favorite artists is actually Dirks Bentley. So it was very cool. Dirks, I went to his concert a couple months ago, and
no way.
he reached out to me. He's like, Riley, I know you play some pretty mean pickleball. He got my number.
Ooh.
And I was like, all right, let's make something work here. So I went down, I watched his concert, I gave his band like a tutorial pickleball, and then we enjoyed the concert. And then now he like won some big CBS event.
Oh,
no way.
A couple months ago. It was amazing. So hopefully my few tips helped. And but he was a stud. He didn't really need too much coaching. It was fun.
No, that's awesome, man.
Well, we know you've met a lot of cool people and like also obviously big names in the world of just everything. You know what I mean? Who would you say is
Let's say top 3. Top 3
top
celebs.
3 celebrities that you have in your contact book right now?
This is a good question. A couple months ago, I got to play in a pro-am with Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh.
That was pretty stinking cool.
Dude, I saw that. Dirk's pretty solid.
Dude,
He is.
Dirk's nasty.
I mean, if it's his forehand or my forehand, I'm having Dirk take that. I mean, Dirk could rifle the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, he has got some tennis background, so that helped.
Yeah.
Obviously, meeting Scotty Scheffler and Jordan Spieth, they were there as well. That was
cool.
really cool. But it's got to be my number one
Oh,
favorite is Mr. Doug Ellen.
Oh, really?
You know,
wait, sorry.
Producer,
Who is that?
Entourage. You don't know Doug Ellen.
I'm out of the loop here.
Doug, if you just heard that, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You know what? We'll take him down together. But no, it's been great. That's the good thing about pickleball too is you know all these celebs and high profile athletes they want to play.
Yeah.
And so I played with a bunch of ex baseball players. Even JJ Hardy lives in Arizona.
Right.
He plays here.
Oh, really?
So
Cool.
It's very very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know there's a lot of former athletes and guys who come out to Arizona to kind of just retire and kick back. So if you guys are ever out here, hit us up.
Yeah.
We're always down for some pickleball. Come on.
And just really quick, this is an educational channel, a big part of it, and we don't have to talk about this a lot, but I do want to get a few takes here. Just quick question for the viewers out there: what's your drill to practice a rec play ratio, and what are some of your favorite drills that you do?
Yeah, so drilling versus playing. I mean, for me, I first started out with just a ton of play. So when I very first started playing pickleball, 2017, 2018, I felt like I just needed a lot of reps, game reps. I kind of wanted to just learn the sport. And so I played. I didn't even drill once that first year or 2 years.
Right.
But then once I realized, okay, I need to dial it in and just be super consistent, that's when I started drilling. And so now I'd say right now in a typical week, it's probably drill 70%. Play 30%.
I like that.
Yeah.
And that's really, everyone asks me, how much do you play during the week? And it's really not a ton. We play 25 events.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not playing every day, twice a day. I know James Ignatowicz is playing all the time. That's not me. I'm going to get burnt out if I do that. So I probably play, every other day, 3 times, 4 times a week.
Right.
Ideally, I like to drill for that first hour.
Right.
Get in lots of reps and then bring in YouTube, bring in 3 others and just get after it for that last hour.
Yeah.
But I'll never go more than 2 hours. I feel like once you go over that 2-hour mark in a session, you lose focus, you lose intensity.
Right.
You get lazy. You stop moving your feet. So beyond that 2-hour mark, I usually cut it, and that's about it.
Well, so how does that go though? Because a lot of your matches sometimes, and you have long days. So that's interesting. You don't go over 2 hours, but what happens game day and stuff?
Well, so I do 2 hours on court for pickleball, and then I'll go to the gym. Either I'll do before or after, and I'll get in, more cardio, more leg strengthening base, core, all that good stuff. But yeah, that 2-hour mark is usually the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I've actually found that's pretty effective too. And actually, believe it or not, I actually started doing that more when I heard that you actually were doing that, because I was playing with Ryan Treffry one day. And he was kind of like, dude, we should not play more than 2.5 hours. And I was like, yeah, I'd kind of agree with that. He was like, when Riley plays, he only plays 2 hours. And I was like, that's actually kind of genius.
Yeah, those public park slayers, those guys go for 4 or 5 hours. They don't ever stop. But you just form so many bad habits.
It's true. It's really
And if you're playing for 4 or 5 hours, you're just not going to do what you would do in a normal tournament.
Interesting.
Right.
And so why practice bad habits?
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of playing with you, Riley, I gotta say, I was talking to Kaden about this. You are one of, probably the top player that I like to drill with.
Yeah.
Because one of the reasons are, and we're gonna hop into this right away, but you are super, you're business oriented. You're here to play, and I show up with I drill with a lot of players. Some players are more lackadaisical, some whatever. But when it comes to playing with you, obviously, I'm like, dude, when we're set up a game, I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta freaking, I might have
intense.
I might have to drill to get ready for Riley. but yeah, so tell us about just that mentality. Again, I don't think even all the pros are that way, but when you hop on the court, you're trying to win every single point. It doesn't really matter, right?
Oh, you mean business?
Yeah, I'm super intense. This is what I do for a job. So every time I step onto the court, I'm usually there trying to work on something or just trying to be getting better each day. That's the thing. Yes, I've been playing for 4 or 5 years. I do not want to ever plateau or peak. I want to get on that mindset of every time I step on the court, I'm getting better. And so what can I do to always get better? And I never want to waste minutes. And as soon as I feel like maybe there was a few points that were sloppy from me, I do not hold back to just say I'll let it out, I'll vent, I'll do whatever it takes, but I just do not like minutes that are wasted.
For sure.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Speaking of kind of your game, we'll dive deeper into this, but one of the things that makes you really interesting, obviously two-handed backhand, but your grip on your forehand side. And would you say semi-Western?
Yep, I would say that.
So almost like, I guess you've coined, or who coined the pancake? Who started that? Was that you?
Well, it's definitely my shot.
Yeah,
but Jeff Warnick
Is he the one
was
that
the one
coined
that
it?
I think there was a match in a gold medal match. I don't even remember where, but he was like, "Welcome to IHOP,"
And you took that on.
and then once he started it,
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, I can kind of get behind this." And now, like all the
Full
announcers are
effect.
saying pancake.
Yeah.
But I never changed my grip. So
Yeah.
that's the thing that a lot of pros are trying to learn the pancake.
Yeah.
And they're like changing their grip while the point's going on.
I'll
Right.
tell you what's hard, dude.
Can't do it.
Like,
You just can't do it. The rallies are too
They're
quick.
too fast. Yeah.
So you can't be changing your grip while like a rally's going on. And so, but when I first started playing pickleball, I was told by Mr. Brian Ashworth up in Seattle, I'm calling you out, Brian. He said
Wow.
not to use the two-handed backhand, maybe
Oh.
change your grip. No one's doing it.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
Lindsay and I were there that second day we were ever playing pickleball. And we're
Yeah.
like, Brian, screw you, man.
Yeah.
Like it worked for us in tennis. We're going to try it in pickleball. And now you take a look at the top males.
Yeah.
Everyone has it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's off a baseline drive,
Right.
playing defense.
Everyone but
defense.
Tyson.
Yeah.
I've even seen Tyson dig with two hands at times.
Is he
Really?
Is he now?
Dug
Did he
a
start?
couple
Okay.
times.
Okay.
But no, you're able to even create off the bounce a little bit more with your attacking.
Yep.
Right.
So definitely lots of pros for it. So if you're not using the two-handed backhand, you should take a look and try it out.
Take a
I
look.
want to jump on the train.
Yeah. Riley, with your grip with the semi-Western, obviously, and this is a no-go, no zone for you. The right shoulder kind of thing, which for most players is a go zone.
It's a good spot.
What would what are some advantages of that? Obviously, that's the advantage. What are some disadvantages, you'd say?
Well, the disadvantage to having like a semi-Western grip is like on your forehand drive, you're not able to really flatten the ball out as much.
Yeah.
And so with your grip, you can have lots of great spin,
Right.
but if that's one of the reasons why I don't play singles and I wasn't the best singles players because sometimes if I'm back off that baseline, it's tough for me to hit a forehand pass
Right.
low
Yeah,
With
yeah.
pace.
with pace.
Yeah.
My ball is more of like a dipping top spin drive. So even in tennis, I was the same way. I was high, heavy loops
Got it.
with my forehand, just trying to beat my opponents down. So that would be the only downside to that grip, but lots of benefits to it. Now opponents used to attack me on my forehand shoulder. That was kind of the
Yeah,
scouting report.
yeah.
But now most opponents are attacking my backhand side.
Yeah. Right.
So they're kind of having to pick, which one do I go?
Well, yeah, and I talked to Kaden about this a little bit after drilling you for one day because I didn't get many points, but when I did,
Oh, you did.
we talked about how I think the one place that, because with two-handers in general, I think is maybe more chest or throat area. Do you think that's a harder spot?
Yeah, not only just like chest, but it would be like higher up in the neck.
Yeah.
So I know it sounds a little tough, and for the viewers, they're not, it's not a mean play, it's not nasty, but if you're
Yeah.
going at a person that's two-handed backhand up by their neck area, they're usually, it's
Yeah.
tougher for them to get out of the way of that.
Yeah.
Right.
And they like being able to have extension and reach and really hit the ball. So if you can go kind of more body and higher, that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
That's going to
Yeah.
be a good spot for those two-handed backhand players. And especially when you see opponents really lean in over the kitchen line, that's when you want to go high and hard. Just because if you see your opponents leaning in over the kitchen line with their paddle up, there's probably not a way for them to get out of the way of that. And so when I see opponents lean in, whether it's with a one-handed backhand or a two, if they see, if you see your opponents leaning in hard, that's when I would go high and hard just because they can't get out of the way of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
If they're sagged off the line, and maybe they're more ready, okay, now you got to pick your spots a little bit better. But definitely take a look before you guys attack of where your opponents are at with their feet and what they're doing with their paddles.
No, yeah, really, really good tip. And, we just talked about drilling and how we love playing with you because you're so intense. But let's just talk really quick about mentality on the court, mental dominance. Honestly, out of all the top pros, I'd put you in that first class. Just super focused.
Yeah.
You're there to win. What can you say to people, or how did you get that, by the way? Like, did you always have that? I know you and Lindsay and all your sisters and brothers super competitive growing up, but where does that come from?
Well, it's just like what you said. It was from growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, the middle of 7 siblings, there was a few things that would happen. One, you better eat your food stinking quick or you're not going to get seconds.
Yep.
So that was first.
Oh.
Just shovel it in. Because
Really?
if you don't eat quick enough, you're not going to get seconds. So you better hurry up.
Right.
And then the next thing was like if there was ping pong,
Yeah.
whether it was wiffle ball, pool, whatever the sport was.
Yeah.
the loser was always had a consequence.
Ooh.
So the loser had to do dishes or laundry.
And is this brought on by the siblings, not the parents, though, right? Not
The parents would force it. We need to get these dishes done.
Oh, and
Right.
you
Now
guys
go play a sport and figure this out.
Oh,
Well, and here's the thing. Let's
man.
put it this way, right? You're one of the kids of 7, and you say, okay, everyone's playing ping pong. Whoever loses has to do the dishes for 7 kids and 2 parents. Hell yeah, I'm not losing that. Come on.
Exactly.
So let me
I'm
ask
not
you,
losing that.
That's
let's
exactly
ask you
right.
this though: who did the most dishes? Like,
I'm gonna put my money on Cody.
Cody was actually a stud.
Really?
Cody
Even though he was the
good.
baby?
I'm going to say my little sister, Carly.
Carly.
She's the youngest of them all.
that's messed up, dude.
She didn't have a state title in tennis either.
Probably the least athletic of the bunch.
That's it. You got to put your hours in.
Oh,
You got to get your practice
yeah.
in. So that was why, even growing up, like we never had tennis lessons growing up.
Okay.
And Lindsay and I, we ended up making it to Division I tennis without a single tennis lesson. So we
Wow.
learned by simply just trial and error. We watched Federer, Nadal, and just watched them do it on TV. And we went out to the courts and said, "Hey, let's try and practice that. Let's try and just mimic it."
Wow.
But there would be several times where if I did lose to Lindsay, which I did quite often when I was 10 or 11 years old,
Right.
I would smack balls at her. I would throw rackets at her. I mean, I was a really bad loser, and still to this day is one of my pitfalls. Sometimes I get a little bit down on myself.
Yeah.
But it was very competitive all the way through childhood, all the way growing up.
Wait, Lindsay's older?
Lindsay's 2 years older.
And so she used to beat you in tennis.
All the time.
So that's switched obviously at a certain age.
It probably when I started maturing a little bit, 14, 15,
Okay.
but she had my number, and she was a wall. She never missed.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
so
nothing's
exactly
changed.
exactly like our game today. Then.
Completely the same.
Okay.
Wow.
But there would even be like times in high school, when we were playing tennis or even middle school, where our parents would have to be on the court, like being referees or line judges, because it got so bad with either line calls or me just being a total just temper tantrum. I mean,
my
I was very, very competitive, and still to this day, whatever it is, I literally hate losing more than anything.
Yeah. Did you ever get to play with Lindsay in tennis? Like as like a mixed doubles
yeah.
team?
We did play a little bit of mixed doubles, not a ton.
Okay.
We did have some pretty good success
Really?
in tennis.
In tennis? Nice.
But it was fun. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the only things I'll really miss about pickleball is now that Lindsay and I were kind of fading out of our partnership. I mean, we started because of each other.
Yeah.
And so now not playing as much, it's going to be sad.
Oh.
But, there's MLP.
Yep.
We're playing
You guys
around
are
the
on the
same
same
team.
team.
I wanted to make sure I drafted her, so Lindsay's
Yeah.
on the squad.
Yeah.
And so hopefully fans can still watch the Newman Nation roll out.
Yeah.
So real quick, MLP PPA. What's more exciting to play? Because I know for me, what's more exciting to watch. But from your point of view as a player, what do you like? What event do you like more?
Well, I missed the first MLP. I was in Australia.
Right.
Okay.
And then last year we weren't allowed to play. So I was
Okay.
playing that very first season though. And that first season was electric. I mean, it was very, very fun. Having that team atmosphere, that's what I'm used to in basketball and tennis playing in college.
Right.
So MLP is very, very fun.
Yeah,
The
dude.
tournament style does get a little stagnant. I'm going to say with the matchups, you can kind of predict what's the matchup's going to be.
Yeah.
I think fans really enjoy the new partnerships.
Yeah.
Just a ton of energy and feel in those stadiums.
Yeah.
It's, you can't replicate in a normal tournament. So
Yeah.
MLP is very, very fun. I think everyone enjoys it.
Yeah. No, we were. I was bummed that you weren't here for that first one, but obviously Australia's. I mean, you go to Australia.
You go to
Uh-huh.
Australia. You do. That was a blast. But our MLP owners are literally the best. Like he just bought us Suns tickets last
what
week.
team? So who's the owner?
It's Hard Eights. Tim Parks is one of the
Okay.
guys that is just an absolute legend. He said that if we win MLP, he's going to get courtside tickets to the Mavericks games for
my
us.
gosh.
He
got
has like
some-
a personal masseuse at our house that we're staying at with
Oh my
with a
gosh.
chef. So it is not a bad
for
life.
the weeks at MLP.
For the week, yeah, not a bad
Oh
life.
my god.
Nice.
Thank you,
bro.
Tim. Appreciate you, brother.
Oh man. Yeah.
Damn.
So real quick, last thing about the mental dominance and just a mental giant in the sport, Riley, because you're definitely one of them. What is your thought process? And we'll go more into this with playing Ben and Colin so many times. But when you're down big or when you're up big, does your mentality change? Or like, how do you How do you handle that?
Yeah, I think, well, even last weekend, we were in the mixed final, we were down 2-1, and we're playing best 3 out of 5. And so a lot of teams, when they're down 2-1, you're probably scratching your head. You're probably thinking, oh gosh, what did I do wrong? That now I'm down 2-1. Let's just mail it in. Let's play these last points out, and let's do that. But I think I use a lot of my experience. I mean, now I feel like I'm one of the older statesmen. I've been playing for 4 or 5 years. I've tried to use a lot of my experience of being in these gold medal matches to try to propel me forward. But my big mindset is just next point. I mean, I'll say that 4, 5, 6 times a match, just next point.
Yeah.
I mean, so many things in pickleball is just within a couple inches. The margins are so thin that sometimes you just got to just shake it off and get right after it. So, I mean, I'm one of those guys. I don't talk to my partners too much. I kind of know what needs to happen. But at a timeout, it's just little things here, nothing complex, nothing crazy, just a couple words here and there. Keep it simple, keep it short. But mental is a big part of this game. And I'm even thinking about next year hiring a mental coach, just because I want to get even stronger. I think that's one of my strengths is my mental game, but I want to get stronger. So I'm even watching this golf documentary right now on Netflix.
Oh,
cool. And all these top professional golfers, they're always talking about, their belief and positive mindset.
Right.
And it's so big in tennis and pickleball that, I mean, you're out there kind of competing by yourself or with one other person. So it's very real.
No, for sure. Well, one thing that my dad used to mention, because my dad was a golfer, and as a kid, competing in sports, especially once I got into pickleball and it was just me, myself, and I didn't have a baseball team around me. One thing he mentioned is every time you show a certain sign of emotion, my dad would like to call it, you are letting your opponent out of your pocket. And basically what he's trying to say is every time you doubt yourself and show that doubt to your opponents, they're gaining confidence, and they're gaining a ground over you because they know that you are emotional and that you are upset. And personally, I mean, that's one thing that I like to think about a lot is just all right, I'm no matter what happens, you got to just kind of focus up and say, all right, whatever just happened, I don't even care anymore. We got to get to the next point.
Yeah. Do you sense that, Riley, at times? Because I know what I see, because I actually watch a lot of your championship matches, pretty much all of them. But do you sense when your opponents are on that, they're kind of don't feel defeated, but you're see, you and Matt Wright, you guys go on huge runs, and then you like to keep the energy high. Yeah. And you just try to put the pedal to the metal pretty much, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you see your opponents maybe do an eye roll or a shoulder shrug, or if they start kind of talking at each other, you kind of have them, or you can start playing with even more confidence.
Yeah.
So I believe that you got to play within your personality. I mean, when I go out there on the court, I'm a very kind of high emotion type player where I'll kind of let my emotions on my sleeves. I'll kind of show you what's going to happen if I like what's going on or if I don't. But just show your personality. If you're more of a softer reserve guy, keep it kind of within you. If you're kind of more of a vocal and you kind of want to let it out, I would say let it out, because for me, when I have a few points where it doesn't go my way, I mean, there's sometimes I'll just go and just kind of yell it just to kind of get it out. Whether that's slapping a paddle on your leg or doing whatever you need to do to just vent or release, it is help, because you can't just bottle your emotions up, because that's when you're going to start kind of playing poorly.
So on that note though, on players' antics and stuff, we just had a podcast talking about this. There's very vocal players. We talk about, very fiery players, things like that. Julian Arnold is one of them, Mr. Andiamo himself. And then there's actually at the pro level, we were just talking about this, there's more and more banter going on. There's more and more words being exchanged. What do you think about that? Because we've seen some from you and Matt going at Colin and Ben.
I absolutely love it. I mean, do not hold back. Whether that's Julian coming at me, whether that's us going against the Johns brothers, I think it's fun for viewers too. I think people want to see a little bit of rivalry. They want to see a little bit of fiery blood coming your way. I don't think pickleball is meant to be this super gentleman type sport. If you have something to say it. Obviously there's a line, you can't cross it. But
so real quick, we were talking about this. What is the line you would say?
What's your line?
I would say swear words. I don't think you could cuss out an opponent. I don't think you should ever cross the net. And then really kind of go at someone that way. I mean, there's that line that you can't cross, but if you have something to say, I mean, I actually like when people talk to me. So when this was,
and Matt does too.
Yeah.
Matt loves it.
Yeah.
So even when I play against Matt in mixed doubles, I will not even like say, come on, or let's go really loud, because it wakes them up. So you got to know actually who you're playing against as well.
Good.
So if your opponents love that, I'm going to be more reserved. Like there was a match we played against Julian at Nationals where he was playing with Kyle Yates and I was playing with Matt Wright. They won the first game handedly, and they were up in the second game 7-3. And they had our number, and they were just doing whatever it takes to win. And we were Matt and I, we were kind of just playing quiet and not playing very well. And Julian said, "Come on, guys, start talking. I know. Let's go. Come on, let's bring it." And it like woke us up.
Said
It
that?
completely woke us up.
Oh my!
And from that moment on, we went on a rampage, and we ended up winning the match in the next 10 minutes. And so when you know your opponents are fiery and are use that emotion, you don't want to wake them up either. So be careful.
He woke up the wrong beast.
Well, he did.
The wrong beast.
And Matt plays a lot better too. And so there's a few guys on the tour that I know that don't like to get kind of verbalized and attacked. Yeah. And so I know that. And so I'll probably go at him a little bit more. Yeah. But there's a line.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about your partnership with Matt Wright. Because you guys have been together, last year was your
second year now.
Mm-hmm. Second year. How is that? And I've asked you this before, but what's the difference between like, are you guys friends? Are you guys just partners? How is that going? And how is that at the pro level when you're picking someone? And how's your relationship with Matt?
Yeah, well, a lot of people probably don't know this, but in 2018, 2019, I mean, Matt Wright and I, we hated each other. We absolutely hated each other, where if I walked by him at a tournament, I would not say hi. I would not even acknowledge him. And he would do the same thing to me. He hated me. There was really not a lot of a mutual friendship there. So, but now, we realized, Matt and I, we give ourselves the best chance to beat, the Johns brothers. And so we teamed up. He asked me, he's like, hey, let's just put our emotions aside and let's play together. And I said, yeah, let's do it. That's a great idea. So I actually went over to Wichita before last season and just hung out with them, tried to build the chemistry up. We were watching the Australian Open tennis together. We had a cold one. Yeah. We're just trying to mend the broken hearts that we had for so many years.
Built a Lego set together.
Just tried to be buddies. And now slowly but surely it's becoming much more of a friendship.
Okay.
And so now we're not going at it so much.
Right. You guys got to work together.
Yeah. We got to work together. Yeah. And so after each match, usually we'll have like a text thread where we're talking about kind of what worked, what didn't work in a match, and make adjustments based off that.
Now, was this partnership started by like a I'm sorry text, or was it like a phone
who?
call?
Yeah, Matt, I don't know how I think he got my Facebook Messenger.
Oh, so
he reached out over Facebook, and he said, man, I know we've been at it for a few years, but let's team up. I think we're kind of in that top category where let's do it.
What was your initial thought? You were like, or were you like, oh yeah, that makes sense?
At that point, I was playing with Tyson, and I felt like we were always getting second places and a few first places here and there, but not enough.
Yeah, no, you guys had some good wins. You guys won Atlanta back-to-back years. I think the biggest thing is like, I love Tyson, but it's just the hand speed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think personally, like when you made that change to Matt, it was actually perfect timing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Now, personally, I mean, I think you're better than Matt, but that's just me.
Yeah. And the chemistry with Tyson was really good too. And he's a former Pacific Northwest guy. We actually grew up playing tennis against each other.
Oh, no way.
We were 18, 17 years old. And so there's a bond there. Yeah. But at the end of the day, this is our career. This is what we do for a job. And so I wanted to play with Matt. I think he gave me the best chance to win. And his hands are one of his strengths. Yeah. So that felt like that we were a little bit vulnerable before. And so Matt does do that. Now there's flaws with Matt's game, there's flaws with my game, and so we just got to work around that, and that's the beauty of a partnership. We just kind of fill in each other's holes.
Team chemistry.
Let's talk about those flaws, Riley.
Okay.
What do you think they are?
With my
let me guess here.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so obviously, Ben and Colin. Now we're going to talk about strategy here. They go to your middle. Mm-hmm. Right? We already know that. You got Matt's in the backhand, you in the forehand. It's harder to attack, like you talked about the semi-western. But last match, and by the way, really, really close in that fourth game, you guys were doing a lot of either playing straight up or not stacking on returns. Was that mainly because you couldn't get your returns deep, or is that a strategic thing?
Yeah, the Johns brothers are very methodical with their game plan.
Yeah.
So they'll do the same thing over and over again. And so if Matt and I switch sides, it mixes it up. It keeps it fresh. And that's the beauty of playing with Matt, is because he's comfortable on the left and I'm actually comfortable on the right, just because I played so much with mixed doubles on the right. And so I know a lot of people are talking about how you want to kind of pick a side and like focus just being on a left side guy or a right side guy. Yes, that holds some merit, but I think to be able to be even more of an appealing partner is you want to be able to play both sides, because if things go awry and you're not able to get many points,
then what?
We got to switch up. And so that's what we did in that match. And we found that if we can get them out of patterns, which they like to do, which is them dinking middle, it mixes it up. It gives them a different look. And so we're going to be doing that the rest of the year, of just keep giving them different things to think about.
Yeah, right. Having a plan B that also works.
Yeah. You need to have plan Bs. You can't just always go out there and just have your plan A. And that's not going to work at the pro level.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really good. Actually, two things that I've seen in Matt's game that he's doing differently is he's starting to two-handers.
Wonder where he got that.
And some digs and then actually when you're on the defense, and I don't know, you tell me what you think about this, but because he's just more confident in throwing up a lob, he throws a lot of defensive lobs, like where because you're so good, you know, most of your defensive at the baseline, you're hitting like some drops, but I know Matt's maybe touch or whatever, he just throws it up, which you guys end up getting back in the point that way. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so when you are lobbing from a defensive position at the baseline, a lobbing does work occasionally. You just got to make sure your lob is like deep enough in the court. And so his lobs are good enough where they're usually deeper, where it pushes your opponents back. And now they're hitting overheads on their heels, whereas opposed to if you're just lobbing up a ball at the baseline and it's just right at the kitchen line, okay, your opponents are going to have a good look. So if you do lob, I'm not a huge proponent of lobbing. When Matt does it, even to this day,
would you rather him drop those?
If he has time and his feet's set and he likes the ball a little bit more, then he'll drop it, which he does usually. But when you're ever retreating, it is nice occasionally to throw it up, give yourself time to come back. And he knows that I'm quick enough that I can usually cover a good amount of the court. So definitely know your partner, who you're playing with. Okay, don't just throw it up willy-nilly. Okay, make sure you have a plan.
Yeah. And does he is he starting to like his new paddle, or?
Yeah, I think he's got either the 10-inch or the 12-inch. It's a lot of spin, power, even on those reflex volleys. I mean, this game is becoming so fast now. These hand volleys at the net, that if you can get enough power with that and put it away, it's going to have a huge benefit to your game.
Well, Matt has one of the best counterattacks in the game, I would say.
Yeah.
And then one thing, Matt's obviously top tier player, but one thing that I see when you guys, and I think I see you get frustrated about this a little bit, maybe because of your shot previously or Matt's, but his defense in the transition is something that's probably out of the top four, like you, Ben, and Colin, probably like on the weaker end. Like, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think he would agree in that, and that's why he usually resorts to lobbing it up, because he can't. With that paddle being so thin, 10-inch millimeter, that's going to be a really good power paddle, but you're going to lose a little bit of feel in the middle and lose a little bit of control.
For sure.
And so usually when we get into a defensive position, I try to take 60-70% of the court.
Yeah.
And that relieves pressure off of him. So now he only needs to maybe cover 30%, and he can dig up balls a little bit easier, a little bit more better. But it's one of his flaws. He's older. He's 44, 45. So that's going to be tougher to dig balls up at your feet.
Yeah.
But he's still
doing pretty damn good.
Top of the game. He still gives me the best chance to win, in my opinion. And so we'll keep rocking it.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep working, and maybe one day.
Keep working that right side, Caden.
Yeah, I got you. All right, I'm a right side master.
Let's go.
All right.
What side do you actually prefer? Like, if you had, and we're gonna talk about like your ideal partner, but I know you like both, but if you had to pick one, because it's really interesting, Riley, because your backhand's obviously your power shot, super strong, super quick. So I would guess you would be more comfortable on the right, but then you're gonna be taking more wide dinks on your forehand. But again, on the odd side, it's the opposite, right? So it's harder to attack from middle, but then you got really good topspin dinks cross court with your backhand.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like my game's pretty versatile where I can play both sides. If I had to pick, I mean, I don't know if I could. I mean, I'm 50-50. I really like both sides.
Yeah.
Now it just comes off of what my partner wants to do, and then also who we're playing against.
Right.
So that's the benefit again of being able to play both sides, is when you're playing against opponents, that have a game plan, being able to switch it up mid game does play a big factor. So left or right, I'm not really picky.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone that's wanting to side like Matt, if you really feel on the left, okay, I'll play the right. So I'm flexible enough to play either. And Lindsay was really good on the left, and so that's how I got comfortable playing on that right side, and it worked out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you, obviously, basically, you and Matt have been playing the Johns every single time. Obviously, it is a rivalry. Do you enjoy it, or what do you kind of see, and what do you guys go through like going in every match, and do you watch like film? I just wonder if you analyze that kind of stuff.
Yes, we definitely watch film pretty much after each match. Like when I go to Minnesota for this next tournament, I'm watching it probably on the airplane, just a few shots that I could look at. Yes, it's fun playing them, but it can get a little stale just because they do the same thing over and over again. Right. It's kind of very similar points where they're kind of trying to just dink you to death, and just it's not the most exciting brand of pickleball in my opinion. I don't think the average viewer wants to watch a 60-70 ball dink rally, and that's what would happen if Matt and I didn't speed it up. They would just want to keep dinking, but it's effective. It works for them, and obviously, why change it if it's not, if needing adjustments?
If it ain't broke.
Yeah, and so they last year they did like a stat. They won 7 times against us, and we won 5. And so if they have them,
Did you guys win 5
against them? Yeah,
the head-to-head
battle. At the end of the year, we started to make adjustments that was really effective. Now they came out with the lead to start 2023, and so now it's our turn to make adjustments right back. And that's the fun part of the rivalry, is we play each other so stinking much that we know what they're going to do, they know what we're going to do, and now it's who can make the adjustments in the critical moments and come through in the clutch. That's going to win.
Yeah, go for it.
So that being said, you guys know each other's games already, and you already know the patterns, what to mix up. So watching or just going back of this last match, I think you lost 12-10 in the fourth?
12-14,
or 12-14.
Yeah, it was long.
What are small adjustments would you have made? Is there anything you could have done differently strategically?
Well, I actually can think of a couple shots that I missed, and I didn't even make them play. So in critical moments, I see this all the time in 3-5 level, 4-5 level, and heck, it even happened at the pro level. So there was a ball, it was 9-all in the fourth game, and we had them on the stack position. So we were serving, they were stacked, and so we had to hit the serve to Colin, and then Colin was going to have to run to the other side of the court to then defend his position. And so there was a ball that Colin returned. It was fairly shorter in the middle of the court. I'm going to hit a third shot drive. The person who's moving, and I hit it wide. And it was like 5-6 feet wide. And so that's a ball where we have the serve. It's 9-9-2 in the fourth game. You just got to make him play. I'm thinking, God, I have to get a perfect shot here. And it doesn't need to be that good. And so if anyone's listening at home and you guys are in tournament battle, or even a rec game for some Chick-fil-A or some cash,
let's go.
We got to be able to make our opponents play in those critical moments. Don't just give your opponents a ball right in the net. Go for the outright winner. And there was another shot I missed, a volley, and I just missed it kind of in the net. And so it doesn't need to be that good at the end of the day. Make your opponents play. Yes, you want to go after your shots, and you want to be able to kind of take it to them, but there needs to be some margins that you're playing with in your shots.
Right. We probably just got a little too excited.
I got probably a little too excited. I probably saw brother Cody in the crowd there, and I wanted to make him proud. I didn't make him proud of the men's doubles, but hopefully I did in the mixed doubles. So
he was proud of you, dude. He was sending me videos and everything like that while I was laying in bed.
Love it.
So okay, scenario here. Now it may never happen, but Colin for some reason can't play, and Ben texts you, say, "Hey man, I know that we've had some stuff in the past, just like the Matt situation. Says, you're going to give it a whirl 2024, 25. What do you say?"
So I'm, actually between Ben and I, it's not like we're buddies. I mean, I'll just say that we're not buddies at all. We're not really saying hi to each other. He's not saying hi to me. I'm not saying hi to him, but I actually don't mind the guy. I actually don't really have anything really bad to say about Ben. He's a nice enough guy. Colin, I don't think I would ever be best buds. I don't think I'd ever go to the bar. I don't think I'd ever get a meal with Colin. I don't really like him too much. I'll just say that. And he doesn't like me, and that's okay. We don't need to have all these friendships on the court. But if Ben asks me, Ben has actually asked me in the past.
But like when past?
This was 2018 or 2019.
So this is before the rivalry.
This is kind of a crazy story. So it was a tournament in New Jersey. And I'm living in Seattle, so he wanted me to come all the way out to the East Coast. I said yes. I was going to come out to the East Coast, and then one day before the tournament, he bails on me. And so at that point, I'm already in New Jersey. I'm already on the East Coast. He bailed on me.
Wait, why? What happened?
He said he had to study for finals. And so me and Lindsay went all the way out there, and he just pulled the cord on me.
Did
he? Ever since that moment, we've never gotten back to where we were before. Actually, before we would actually chat a good amount at tournaments.
Yeah. Really?
But ever since that, I didn't really make too much of an effort. He didn't really make too much of an effort, and we've just kind of gone kind of awry since then. If you ask me, to answer your question, if you ask me in 2024, 2025, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
I would be thinking about it, obviously, because he's a great player. I'd be thinking about it, and I'd be interested. But we'll have to stay tuned. Okay.
Well, we know. Okay, Matt's great, obviously. But seriously, on the tour right now, that's on it. Who do you think you'd have the best chance besides Matt Wright?
It's a tough question. I mean, a lot of guys now are kind of picking sides like we talked about. So Dylan Frazier is very comfortable on the right side. JW is very good on the left side. Yep. You have other players that are kind of picking sides. And so that's great. You want to be comfortable on sides, but it does help being flexible so you can play both sides. Where if you do come into a partnership with like me, now we kind of know if we need to switch or left or right. There is a guy named Jack Sock. He is playing professional tennis. This is his final year in professional tennis. He has reached out, and he wants to maybe team up next year. I got to see a little bit of game from him before I completely switch over to Jack Sock, but he's a former stud. I think he was like ranked number 7 in the world in singles for tennis. He loves pickleball. He's obsessed. He probably plays more pickleball than tennis, even now. He's a professional tennis player now.
Dude, is that an actual?
But we've talked about it. Yeah, he was at the Waste Management in Phoenix.
We saw him there.
Yeah, we were hanging out and having some good laughs. And so who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm enjoying my time with Matt in 2023, but in 2024, who knows what could happen? It's always a new year, and we'll just take it one day at a time.
Yeah, I just wanted to point this out really quickly, but I actually like the left side and the right side too. So
okay. Well, Caden, let's keep hitting the drill court. Okay.
I'll fly out to Texas.
We'll play a 4-5 tournament with you.
Yeah.
4-5.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think people would get a little upset if we played 4-5. Don't you think?
Maybe a little bit. Mm-hmm. We could do it though.
It was actually funny. My first tournament, we played 4-5. Me and Mark Cook, he was the guy that got me started.
And shout out to Mark.
Shout out to Mark. He reffed basketball, and at that time I was reffing college basketball, and he's like, "Hey, Riley, you should try pickleball." And I'm like, "I don't know. It's kind of for old people."
That sounds kind of lame.
But sure, I'll play. And so we ended up driving down to Oregon that very first weekend. We won the 4-5 division, not knowing how to keep score. We were borrowing people's paddles. It was just a hot mess. And so Lindsay was actually down there with me. And then we were supposed to play the 4-5 division. Again, this is the very first week we ever picked up a pickleball
You and
paddle.
Lindsay.
Yeah, okay. And this is in Oregon.
Yeah.
And we went down and we were like, should we play 4-5? And might as well. But there was actually a pro division as well, and we saw they offered prize money.
Yeah.
So this is 2017 where we're reffing college basketball where the money's not as good. We're doing Uber. I'm doing Uber. I was an Uber driver. I had a bunch of different side jobs.
Yeah.
And so we actually entered in the pro division because we wanted a chance to win some cash. We end up winning the pro division. We won like $330, and we're like, "Hey, we're rich. Let's go."
Yeah.
So we got sponsored that very first weekend by Paddle Tech,
right?
And haven't really looked back since. But it's kind of a funny story that we were supposed to play 4-5 that first division, and just.
So who was in that? Who was silver?
We ended up beating Lee Whitwell in the finals.
Oh no way!
Lee Whitwell.
That's so awesome.
Shout out to Lee.
It was a good match. I remember we were like treating it as like we were trying to do the dinking. We were trying to do the third shot drops because we've seen it, everyone doing it. We'll try to play this pickleball.
Yeah.
We couldn't get a dink over. We couldn't get a drop. We just played mini tennis.
Okay.
Playing off of pure athleticism.
We got it done somehow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you won $330.
Yep.
Which in today's world,
I should have kept that check.
I know. That would have been cool, actually.
Should have kept it.
You still have the medal?
Maybe
probably somewhere.
I'll look for that because that'd be fun.
In some
I saw
box.
the picture. I have the picture. Though.
Okay, let's go. That's awesome.
Yeah. So going back to some chemistry though, because we're talking about maybe potential partners and stuff. How important is that to you, and how do you know if you gel with someone? Is it personality wise to you? Is it just just has to do with shot selection and their strengths and weaknesses? Like, how do you figure out, like, because let's say you and Matt, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, we'll text each other. You've seen his game. you played against them, but you guys don't know how you play together. How do you make that out?
Chemistry is important. I would 100% say that. But I think the number one important thing right now in the men's doubles game is your hand speed.
Yeah.
So I'm not switching to someone else in pickleball that doesn't have good, fast, quick hands.
Right.
So that's the number one thing I look for in a men's doubles partner is if they have quick hands and fast hands at the net that they can really counter and they can attack. Right. You got to be able to attack off the bounce and out of the air.
Yeah.
There's some players that are very comfortable just attacking out of the air. Yeah. And so you got to be able to be versatile of doing both because at the top of the top, you have to do both and you got to keep your opponents guessing and keep them honest.
For sure.
But that's the number one thing I'm looking for is hand speed. Chemistry does matter, but it's not the biggest thing in my opinion. Just because if you can play well and win, that's when chemistry happens. Because if you're winning, that chemistry is going to flow. It's not too hard when the checks are rolling in and you're winning, you're holding the trophies. Chemistry is going to happen.
You can't frown when you're holding the trophy.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Going back to the friends, like you're talking about, a lot of people. Some people are friends, and I don't know, Riley, about you, but I do know a lot of pro players that hang out and do their thing. Who are you friends with, like actual friends with on tour, and who do you like? Maybe let's talk about maybe a few that you're on the opposite end of there.
Yeah, I mean, the Johns brothers one for sure. I'm not going to hang out with. I don't vibe with them too much. I'm a guy that likes to go to sporting events where when I travel, like we're going to Minnesota, I'm going to plan on going to a Minnesota Timberwolves game and doing like a fun NBA and college. So I like hanging out with people who want to do those similar activities and want to check out campuses and just downtown. So I really like Pat Smith. Steve Deacon is another fun guy. Jay Devier is fun as well.
Cool.
So there's a few guys that I like hanging out with, but there's a couple guys that I just I won't even look in their direction. I'm not a big fan of Tyler Leung. That's okay though.
Why is that? You guys have
line calls.
Okay.
Line calls are shaky.
Interesting.
He's gotten better. I will say he's gotten better at it in the past. It wasn't the best. So maybe the instant replay is helping our cause there.
That's only on Championship Sundays, though.
That's only on Championship. Well, now they actually just did it to Saturday as well, which is nice.
Oh, okay.
Last weekend they had it on Saturday. But again, pro pickleball, you see these guys 25 weekends of the year.
Right.
Where you don't want to have super bad blood because it's completely awkward.
Right.
But you're going to have best friends and some friends, and then you're just going to have guys you're just not going to hang out with.
Yeah.
That's
I would agree with you. I think Patrick Smith is a good time.
Good dude.
Yeah. I think the few times that I've hung out with him while I played at tournaments, I always found myself like around Patrick Smith or like AJ Kohler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, AJ's a good dude. Like guys that are just they can chat other than pickleball. Yeah. That's one thing.
Right.
Like, yes, we all love pickleball. This is a pickleball podcast.
Right.
But we got to be able to talk about something else too.
Exactly.
And so the Johns brothers and some of those other guys I mentioned, they only talk about pickleball. And it's like, we were playing in a tournament, yes, but like there's other things in life. We can talk about basketball. We can talk about baseball. We can talk about how your grass is mowing out on your backyard.
Talk to me about
anything.
Club Penguin or something. I don't know, man.
Doesn't matter. It really doesn't. But some of these guys, like, they're just very one kind of mindset.
For sure.
Else too.
Yeah. So we did talk about, you maybe potentially hiring a mental coach and really going after it. I mean, that to me is like another level. We look at someone like LeBron James, right? Like spends, I think, $1 million a year on his fitness and things like that.
Right.
I mean, honestly, Riley, how far do you see yourself? Like how many more years do you have in a tank? And is that something like, are you going to just take this how far, or realistically, what do you want to see your, like next 5 years to 10? Like what's your game plan or what?
That's a great question. And what I've actually done within the last 6 to 9 months is get like neuromuscular therapy massages.
Oh, cool.
Which is, they're working like your whole body and just your body's a temple. And I'm like, before this, I was too cheap to do massages or get IV drips to make sure you're hydrated.
Yeah.
But now the money's in where you can kind of treat your body and take care of your body as you should be, because this is a professional sport. You have to take care of it.
Yeah.
I actually, when you were playing with Tyson, didn't he bag on you for your bad diet?
That's probably true. I mean, with Tyson, I would eat McDonald's.
Right? Yeah. So do you still do that?
No, I don't.
So are you on a pretty strict diet?
I mean, my diet can still go awry once in a while.
Burger King.
I mean, but I used to eat McDonald's the day of a pickleball tournament. Like it'd be I remember my order. It was an egg McMuffin, a hash brown, and an orange juice.
Dude, those are good.
That's actually not the worst thing in the world.
It's a bomb meal.
Yeah.
But for pickleball, when you're out there 8-9 hours, it's probably not the best.
Right.
So I would take. I mean, you have to take it as a full-time job. So you got to really take care of your body. I'm stretching more. I'm doing actually some hot yoga. I just started doing that.
Oh man, that's great. That's brutal.
That's amazing though. Like really good for flexibility. I think that's one of my weakest parts is my flexibility.
Right.
So if you're flexible, you can get even more balls. You can reach. You can go get it.
That's true.
Yeah. So I'm not spending $1 million on recovery like LeBron. But I am spending a lot more money on it because it is very important.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. And I'm already noticing a big difference.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
Well, I mean, what instead of McDonald's now, what's the alternative?
Chick-fil-A.
I'm adding more greens into my diet.
Like before the tournament, or
like maybe a meal, like that dinner before.
Maybe like a salad and go instead.
Maybe. I definitely like my pasta. Still, that's my favorite food. I love pasta. I love my favorite meal is a shrimp scampi. That's my absolute favorite meal.
God.
But I am trying to eat better because it does impact like your performance.
For sure.
I have noticed that. I'm only
1000%.
29, but it does play a big role. So whether it's fruits throughout the day, grazing, eating nuts, I'm definitely being better about eating.
Yeah. So like you mentioned, Jack Sock, a whole bunch of, I think we've seen an influx, but it's going to get harder and harder and harder. What are your predictions for you being in that top 10, top 5? Like how many years, like how do you think, how fast do you think these top tier like Jack Sock players, how long is it going to take them to start to jump in? For tennis guys like that, I'm going to say you're going to need to play at least 6 to 9 months. That's usually the timetable. It took me to like dial in my drops, my resets, my dinking. It takes at least 6 to 9 months to dial that in. And that's if you're 100% going out.
Pretty much. Right? Yeah. But Jack's already got the tools. He's already got the quick hands, the fast hands from tennis. I mean, he was a #1 ranked doubles player in the USA for tennis. And so he's already got that. So just dialing in the soft stuff. But to answer your question, I think for me, I want to take this as long as I can go. I mean, I'm not going to be playing when I'm 50. I'm not going to be doing the senior tour. I know that.
No senior tour?
There's no senior tour. So anyone asks me, I'm not playing in 2060 or whatever it is.
Can we partner up for the senior tour?
It's not going to happen. I'm going to be somewhere on a beach playing golf.
Okay. There you go.
But I want to play for the next 5 years. The endorsements are really starting to come in, which is great because that's how you really make it as an athlete. The prize money is getting better. The appearance fees for us actually almost doubled what it was last year.
From what you got from your previous contract.
So that's been great. Cool. And so I'm just going to take this for another, 1 year at a time. But ideally my window is, 5 to 7 years and then hopefully retire.
Yeah.
That's kind of the
retire
goal.
I'm like 36.
I'm starting to buy some houses in other states as well. Do a little real estate. Nice. Starting to invest my money with Baird.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
So I'm just trying to do the right things. Yeah.
Are you sponsored by Baird?
We're talking.
Shout out to Baird.
we're talking, but invest your money. I mean, my parents really never taught me how to invest. I'm not a genius what it is, but you have to do it.
Yeah, but it seems to me, because I've talked to you and Lindsay a lot. It seems to me they did teach you though. Like you guys are really
smart.
tight.
You gotta be
smart with your money.
You gotta be smart. I mean, I paid off my last house.
Yeah.
I actually already paid off my Dallas house already. So you gotta be smart with your money. I'm not spending it on silly stuff. I'm very careful with what I spend my money on, but you do need to be able to kind of watch what you're spending.
Yeah.
So there's some guys that if you win a tournament, they're going to go out to the clubs and have bottle service.
Yeah.
I'll probably maybe do that, but maybe if someone else is throwing their credit card down.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, my Tesla's paid off. That's all good.
Yeah.
No, my parents did teach me. My dad at 64 years old, he's still mowing lawns.
Damn. Now?
Yeah, he's a bus driver and he mows lawns, and that just showed me he always works hard for his money, and so you don't want to just spend it on nothing. And so the same with me. Now I'm starting to make a good amount where I don't want to just still spend it on silly stuff. I want to really take care of it.
Yeah. Well, he had 7 kids to feed too.
A lot of mouths to feed.
Man.
I couldn't believe it though. He's still doing it today. He's just hard work ethic. And my mom's obviously still working as well. And so they got a couple more years and they'll retire, and hopefully they'll come down to Texas or Arizona. We'll see.
How old is your mom?
They're 63 and 65.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So 2 years apart.
My dad's 65, but my mom's 58.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because you have so many siblings where obviously I'm tight with Cody, so all of his siblings are older than him, but it's our parents are similar age, so it's we're all kind of in that same era of how we grew up and stuff like that, because my parents still work too.
Yeah.
But
it is inspiring to see when your parents are still working at an older age it's kind of also thinking like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, right.
Like I want to work hard now and save and do the right things. So then when I'm
Yeah.
high 30s,
Oh,
okay,
for
I'm
sure.
chilling.
What do your parents think of you today? Like,
Hopefully they're proud.
Yeah.
That's kind of my goal, is to make my parents proud. And I know they are.
Yeah.
They watch me all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
They watched the last tournament, and when I look on my phone, they're the first people to kind of say congratulations,
That's
which is
cool.
great. Phone calls,
Yeah.
text messages, they're always watching.
Yeah.
And so it's great to have that family support, because they were the ones that took me to the tennis tournaments and the basketball practices
Right.
and all that. And so they're true number one supporters.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. So Riley, you said before this you were heavily involved in basketball, right? I think it was probably like your dream to go to NBA at some point.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
you became a ref. You went that route, and you were actually reffing college games and stuff. If you did not have pickleball thrown in your lap, what would you be doing today? What do you think?
That's a heck of a question. I'd probably still be continuing on that route as a NBA referee.
As me, okay.
A lot of the NBA referees actually play pickleball, and so those guys,
you're right.
actually
You're right.
come to Phoenix,
You're
and they
right.
hook me up with tickets, and then
Oh,
we
no
go out
way.
the
Oh
next
my
day. We
gosh,
play
dude.
pickleball.
Oh my God.
So Scott Foster is one of my best buds on the referee.
What?
So he's been doing it for 30 years.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
done
yeah.
NBA
Oh my
finals,
gosh.
and he actually took one of my pickleball clinics
No
this
way.
past summer on the East Coast. And so it was cool because, he's like a 4.0, 4.5 player. He was taking my clinic, and meanwhile, before pickleball, I was like, wow, this is like one of the greatest referees. Like, I watched him.
Right.
And so we can kind of learn from each other. He's learning from pickleball, and I'm learning from basketball.
That's so cool.
That was the goal, was to be an NBA referee. It didn't really work out as much. It's tough. 'Cause
It is.
These older guys, they're not really retiring just because the money's so good.
Yeah,
It's
right.
tough for young guys to come in.
Well, you don't need to be like super young to do it, right?
No.
Yeah.
And so, luckily I found pickleball, because now I'm actually making more than like most NBA referees, which is cool.
Right.
So, let's go.
Plus or
Yeah.
minus,
Boom.
yeah.
Come on.
Let's go.
Dude, let's go. Businessman himself, number 2 in the world, soon to be number 1. Riley, we're going to be rooting for you. Quick, fast hands questions. We're going to do a little volley exchange here.
Let's go.
All right.
Okay, I know you have some of the fastest hands in the game. Actually, we'll get to that. But ready? This is going to be fast, rapid fire, okay? Like, just pretend we're volleying back and forth,
Okay.
all right? So don't think too much. Dinker or banger?
Dink.
Drop or drive?
Drop.
Serve or return?
Serve.
Faster. Even or odd?
Odd.
Offense or defense?
Offense.
Tennis or pickleball?
Tennis.
Lindsay or Haley?
Lindsay.
Oh,
Why'd you do that? I thought you were gonna stop on that.
Come on, keep the questions going.
You said fast.
Men's or mixed?
Men's.
Okay, that's all I got.
Okay.
Donuts or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Oh man,
I
no.
knew the answer to that one.
Okay, and just another last segment here. Riley, here's something I just came up with here. If you had to pick one player on tour to hit this shot for you, do or die. Now, don't include yourself, okay? So real quick, I'm going to go through these scenarios here, all right? Anyone in the pros, you can mention women or men. But I would actually pick you for a lot of these. But
But you can't pick yourself.
You can't pick yourself, okay? Somebody to put a high overhead away. Who would it be? I think I have someone in mind.
My current partner, Matt's pretty good at the high
that's what I was
overheads.
thinking.
I don't want to ruffle any feathers there, so I'll say Matt for the high overhead.
Okay. Defend overhead in transition. Now, I'd put you here,
It's not Matt on that one.
So overhead, you're back in transition, 4 feet from the baseline.
Oh, it's
Gotta
easy. I'm going to
stick it
say,
out.
wait, does it have to be a men's player?
No.
Oh, it's easy. It's Lindsay.
All right,
Okay.
Lindsay.
Lindsay got everything back. I didn't have
Okay.
to look at her. The ball was coming back.
2 for 2 on answers right now.
All right. ATP. Ball goes wide. You don't have
Jesse
much space.
Irvine.
Really?
Oh, okay.
She cracks it.
She does
Okay.
crack it.
Yeah, so it's like
she
even
cracks
tough
an
when I
ATP.
see, because I've only really played against her. We've only played one time together.
Really, Jesse?
And when the ball goes out wide and I see her going for it,
Ooh.
I'm like, I better get to the sideline quick to try to
Yeah.
defend it. And if I'm not there, I'm going to take a bullet off my ankle because
Yeah.
it is coming with some pace.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
she's really good at it.
Okay, ATP defense. Pick somebody, not including yourself.
Defense.
I have one person in mind. It's
Who-
someone you don't
Really?
like.
I'm not going to say. I don't want to give him credit.
Oh, dude, Colin. I just have seen Colin defend so many ATPs.
That's because he's covering 10% of the court. It's
okay.
not hard.
All right. Okay. All right.
I love
Covering, I'm gonna say Mr. Caden Nemeth.
Oh,
let's
wow.
go.
Oh,
You know what?
wow.
Come on,
Wow.
put him in the game.
He slid you 100 under there for sure.
4 for 4 on answers.
I've never even seen you defend a
Stop
ATP,
it,
bro.
stop it. I'm a monster at defending
Okay.
that ATP. That was a great answer. That
All
was
right.
a great answer.
Cross court dink, forehand side. Money's on the line. You have to pay. If you do or die, who would you take?
I mean, Anna was pretty locked in on the forehand cross courts this past weekend. She had some topspin dinks, really consistent. So Anna Bright will be my answer for the forehand cross court dink.
Okay.
She was consistent. She was able to kind of move her spots around, going deeper, going to the inside foot.
Yeah.
That's what what made an adjustment in that last match was in the mixed final. We were noticing when she started out going wide, it wasn't really giving me many looks. And
Right.
so when she actually placed her dinks more in the middle towards the girl's inside foot,
Right. Gets
now
them
if the ball's in the
uncomfortable.
middle, they're kind of fighting over it a little bit. And now usually
Yeah.
that next ball comes back more towards the middle. And now I'm there with.
Well, it's harder to redirect it at times, especially when it's on
Absolutely.
the backhand.
When it's in your inside foot, you're usually
Yeah.
having to have that paddle tip down,
Yeah.
softly lift it up more back to where the ball came from
Yep.
or more middle. And that involves me.
Yep.
Right.
All right. Backhand cross court dink. Who has it? Who would you pick? Not going to miss on the line.
Ben's is pretty good. He's got a good backhand cross court dink. But whose is better than Ben's? Well, how about the guy sitting right across from me, Jordan Briones, backhand cross court dink.
There's your
There you
first
go,
wrong
guys.
answer.
There you go. All right.
I felt bad. I can't just leave you out to dry.
no,
Come
dude.
on.
No, I mean,
Give me some credit.
My
Yours is-
backhand
yours is
dink
pretty
is strong.
solid. Yours is
It's
pretty
pretty solid. All right. This should.
Your forehand dink's better. I know that. Your forehand dink's better, but your
Is it
backhand's
really? I roll it a little bit. Yeah. Okay. This is an easy one. For me, maybe someone you had a little controversy with, but the Ernie.
Who has the best Ernie? Yeah, Tyler Loon.
Okay.
I don't think it's too much of a question on that.
It's still me.
It's one of his best drinks.
Yeah.
It is.
All right, Bert.
The Bert. Yeah.
Zane Affleck.
Zane Affleck. Not many people are going to even know that
Yep.
name, but Zane
Dude.
Affleck was, I think, one of the first guys to do it.
Yeah.
And also knock his
Against-
partner down while doing it.
He's
with you
with me. Yeah.
against the Johns.
Yeah. So he.
in Colorado.
Wow, you remember that? I think it could be true. It could be.
No, that was the one that I don't know if that was the first, but that was the one that got the first in Vail.
Vail.
That's the one
I think
that-
Kyle played that time. Kyle Yates.
Oh, was it Kyle?
and Ben.
Okay, it was
But
Kyle.
I think
Okay,
he
right.
was Zane Affleck. He doesn't really play too much pickleball anymore.
Yeah.
He was the guy that was the first to do it, and I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that no one has ever seen that play before.
That was freakish.
He's got
Yeah.
some athleticism, and now like
I know.
that's the cool thing about pickleball too is like it's growing so quickly
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
evolving. That new shots are coming.
Yeah.
ATP defenses were like if you hit an ATP,
Yeah.
back in
Everyone
the day,
was- that was
it
a
wasn't
winner.
coming
Oh,
back.
no,
that was
yeah.
a
Now
winner.
it's like it's defended more times than not.
Yeah, I
right.
think it's probably 70, around 70-80%.
That's the beauty of pickleball too, especially at the pro level. Is people are taking this as a full time job, and
Yeah.
so the rallies are getting better, and
exactly.
like the game is increasing at a rapid rate.
Did you see that some pickleball page posted like a video of like a 5-0 like championship match in like 2013
Dude,
compared
have you
to 2023?
seen the national championships
Yeah.
in 2013 and stuff?
I just saw that.
It was
Dude,
it's
like you would be
insane.
eating that up all day,
Dude,
with the tax.
If I played in 2013, I would be bigger than this man right here.
Well, everyone, everyone wishes they
Yeah,
were.
right.
They were there then.
Right?
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But okay, so money on the line, drop. Third shot drop. It's got to be unattackable. Who would you pick?
Lindsay's was pretty good, but I can't say her because I already chose her.
No, that's fine.
No,
double
go
up.
someone new.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm trying to
Go
think someone
someone
new. Third shot drops. Let's see. I would say
Come on, give.
Jay's is pretty good. Jay DeVier, he's got a pretty good third shot drop. His forehand, especially, he can take that ball inside out or
Okay.
inside in.
Okay.
He can maneuver the ball a good amount,
With that,
and he can kind of drop it in. Steve Deakins is actually really consistent
okay.
as well.
So consistency backhand side.
That's Steve Deakin.
Steve Deacon.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Mid-court reset. Now this is where I would put you in there, but you can't pick you.
Yeah. Mid-court reset. How about Elise Jones?
Okay,
Really?
cool.
A newer player on the
Yeah.
scene from
Let's go,
Utah.
Elise.
I actually ended up, me and Elise played in the bubbly championships against Ben and Jesse. I'm probably thinking, a lot of people, if they had to bet
Yeah,
in Vegas, they're probably going to take Ben and Jesse
Yeah.
to beat me and Elise.
for sure.
But me and Elise won that match. We won it for our team.
Oh, no
we
way.
won that match. We beat them, and Elise was a rock.
Dude,
She
yeah.
got so many resets,
she's
and that's what you
gotten
want
so
for a mixed
good.
partner.
Yeah.
We want these ladies in mix to just defense, and get these balls back. So then it,
So
know,
then
gets
we
the guy
can create
involved.
yeah, right.
And she was a stud. So props.
Yeah.
Props.
Super cool.
And this one should be easy, but just to get your take, offensive lob from the non-volley zone line.
Yeah. Well, if I don't say Matt, it's gonna be bad. But I'm gonna say Callan Dawson. That
Okay.
one's pretty easy. I think that's what you wanted me to say.
Well, I didn't want you. I mean, that should be the consensus usually.
And Callan's is pretty steady too. Like he'll miss occasionally, but it's usually pretty high percentage.
Pretty on point.
Yeah.
Which is usually why I see a lot of players 3-0, 3-5, 4-0 level. They lob from the kitchen line or heck, lob from anywhere.
Yeah, right.
But it's percentages. I've done like the math on it. It's really not a successful play to lob from the kitchen line. It doesn't really work as much.
Yes.
Maybe too many times you're lobbing straight ahead. Typically you want to lob kind of more middle or even a little bit more on the cross court side.
For sure.
But Callan is on the higher percentages.
Yeah.
And so he can.
Now, Riley, you don't have that in your arsenal. Is that something
because
you're
of the percentages?
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're not something you're even going to pick up.
Just because when I saw it early on and I saw it not working, I just didn't want to even involve it into my game. I didn't want to have it.
It's your grip too on your forehand. I think it'd be
a little tougher.
But your backhand, dude, you have so good defense. I would say a little. So this is where
So if I'm on the left, where would I lob? Over the straight ahead,
So
back, left shoulder?
Yes, but this is what I'm saying. I've caught people where you're like you're gonna attack, and they settle down, and you pop it over. Your hands are so good, even if you have them falling back a little bit,
Get the next one?
you could counter.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
So you're saying
I would
lob over
experiment.
the guy
Straight on.
ahead,
Straight
left
on.
shoulder. Because you never want to lob sideline. Because so let's say I'm on the left, I
Yeah.
have the ball.
Yeah.
I'm going to lob over the left shoulder of the guy in front of me. That's what you're saying?
Or just in general. I don't know, man. I think
Because
that,
I don't want to lob towards the sideline because then you're flirting
Yes.
with the sideline.
you're true.
And you want to go more bigger spots when you're lobbing. So you just don't want to go too much cross court because now you got the guy's
That's
forehand
true.
there.
Yeah.
That's
But
true.
I will definitely take a look at that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Heck, if you're watching Minnesota, Jordan, if you see a lob,
Dude.
you'll know that I actually listen to you.
at least drill and try a couple. I just, dude, your
Okay.
hands are so good.
I mean, and usually when Matt does throw up the lob, I'm already taking the next
it's
one.
you
Yeah.
digging
And
it
it's-
out.
and it's next,
That's
and I'm
what
on the
you're
next
saying.
one.
It's
That's what I'm saying. Anyways, food for thought there. Okay, so a drive. Yeah, they have to hit it low. It's got to be nice, right over the net in the middle. Who would you take?
Pat Smith, when
Really?
he connects and gets a third shot drive.
Oh,
He does have a pretty good
rifled.
drive.
Plus, it's dipping in, it's dipping over. That's the best thing about a third shot drive is
Yeah.
when your margin over the net is like just a little bit, and now the ball is lower and we're hitting it
it.
below the net. That's tough.
Yeah, I played Pat this last weekend, and I would say he hit a few drives where I was like, wow, that was,
Yeah.
I mean, he just drops the paddle head and just rolls it. And he hit two that I was like, that was actually pretty wicked. And then he had a few that, it was windy this weekend, so he had a few that I was like, oh, that's long gone. But I mean, when he hits it well, it's pretty nasty.
The only thing I would say with Pat and a lot of other players, struggle with that is like on your third shot drives, I think players tend to go for too much.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it's really all about like your pace of how hard you're hitting
drives,
it.
right.
Yeah, and I even did this on my Instagram page, and like I showed like you want to go at 60%, whether that's with your backhand or your forehand. If you go at 60%, that ball tends to dip over because you're not hitting it so hard, not so flat. And so you want to have a little bit more shape, just dip it over because now your opponent has to hit up, and then you can come in on the next one.
Yeah.
All right, so a few more here. Off the bounce attack. Off the bounce. Because I have a couple in mind.
Okay, who's on your mind?
Well, I think honestly Matt would be up there, just on his forehand side. Obviously backhand, I'd take you, but I'm like, off the bounce attack. What do you think?
There's a new guy I just saw watch, Connor Garnett.
Oh,
He's a guy off the bounce that has a two-handed backhand
shout
as
out
well.
to Connor, dude.
That's the benefit. I mean, that's the benefit of having two-handed backhand because off the bounce you're able to create. If
true.
you have a one-handed backhand off
It's
the bounce,
hard.
it's tougher to attack.
Dude, you know what? And I started this too. I mean, obviously playing with you a lot, I've been developing my backhand over the past couple of years, but just that left hand is easier to manipulate it.
And
It's
you can
like-
kind of change at the last minute, last
Yeah.
direction. You can maneuver the ball. You can change up your locations on where you attack. You can kind of hold, and so. Yes, the two-handed backhand has its limitations because you're not able to reach as much. You're not able to take as much balls out of the air and really poke in and lean.
Yeah.
But off the bounce, it can be pretty stinking deadly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say one thing I know or notice about your game that like I've never seen anyone actually do, but from your grip, when you go to defend an overhead, you actually defend it like this instead of just like your normal forehand grip.
Is it Yeah, why is that? You think you just reached better?
Is that just?
Or you're just
Yeah, I think I'm already protecting.
Yeah,
I'm already having my two-hand backhand grip.
Right.
And so if I'm already in that grip, I'm already kind of sliding my hands this way.
Yeah.
And it's just much easier for me again to have.
Oh, I know
control.
why. It's because his
And it's tougher to get.
yeah. His
with my
semi-western.
grip,
Oh,
with my
okay.
grip, it's tougher to like.
It's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
The feel.
Right.
from that
Right.
side.
For sure.
Yeah, and then the last one, the most fun one, straight ahead hands battle. Who would it be? Who would you put there besides yourself?
Straight ahead. JW's is very, very quick.
Yeah.
I was thinking of
JW's is quick.
J-Dub.
Even Dylan's is
Dylan's
quick.
is
Yeah.
quick. The only limitations that JW has is sometimes if you get him kind of reached out wide, he's not able to hit it clean as enough.
Oh,
and
got
so if you go right at his body though,
he's-
it's good night.
Yeah.
So you cannot. If any pros listening to this, if you're attacking JW, if you go right at his belly button or chest, it's coming back in a hurry. So you better not go there. You got to make him reach, and even if he does reach, he's still probably going to connect pretty well on it.
Yeah. Right. For sure.
Yeah. Okay, tell me, last thing here, Riley, tell me if this rings a bell here. I got some inside scoops, maybe from someone you may know. But why don't you tell us, do you have any like family stories that you can bring up of like maybe when you're in high school?
Family stories in high school.
Yeah, like that have to do with like maybe a long-term, where people thought it was someone else that did something. But
Oh my gosh, you
But
got
like,
some insider scoop on me.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I know where you're going with this.
We did our homework.
You did your homework on this podcast.
so there was a little Christmas present that someone asked for you, recently. Why don't you tell us about that?
Wow.
Why don't you tell
Well,
us a
if
little
anyone wants to know, it's a boring story, but I guess I'll share it anyways.
I'm just gonna shout it out because Lindsay helped me out on this.
Yeah, so I was a junior in high school, and when your friends invite you to go out, you won a big basketball game, you're pumped, you want to go hang with your friends, and on this island I grew up on, it was Whidbey Island, just outside Seattle. There was not a lot of street lights that you were driving, and so I was actually driving home, and it was, 11:30. I'm not going out too late. I'm a good kid. I was a junior in high school. I'm not staying out too late. I was coming home, and I was driving 45 under the speed limit. Speed limit's 50. Okay, I'm still good here, guys.
Yeah.
And this deer just comes out in front of me. Right in front of the minivan I was driving. The minivan. Come on, best mom of 7 kids. That's what it said on the license plate.
That's right.
And I just couldn't avoid it. And it just came right out in front of me. I hit the deer. And then it kind of hobbled off the road. It was still okay. And so I kept driving. And when I got home, everyone was sleeping. But then the next morning, my dad saw in the minivan the deer hair. The hair was still on the...
Oh, so there wasn't even a dent.
There was a little bit of a dent, but the hair was the biggest thing. For some reason, some deer hair was stuck to the headlight.
Okay.
So kids, if you're watching this at home and you're sneaking away from your parents, we're not even sneaking away, but make sure you clear the evidence. Clear the stinking evidence.
Oh, man,
So
we're getting into
I didn't get rid of it.
Mistake number one.
And so I blamed it. I blamed that story on Haley. That was the big thing. I blamed it on my little sister that I didn't hit the deer, that I blamed it on Haley. She took the fall for like 3, 4, 5 years. And finally, she put it on her Christmas list. She said, Riley, I don't even want a stinking present from you. I don't want cash. I don't want anything. Just tell Dad that you hit the deer.
And Lindsay said this was just like the last Christmas or something.
It was a couple of Christmases.
Oh, was it a couple?
But we waited a while for the story to finally come out, and my dad was pretty shocked to hear it.
Dude.
How did Haley not get herself out of that?
Yeah, like she didn't get mad. I mean,
My parents believed me. Like I said,
Wow.
they believed. I was the first son.
Wow.
Some special treatment there. I mean, I was a good kid. I didn't have the best grades, and I didn't, party, but, they trusted me. I didn't give them any reason to not trust me. And so, sorry, Mom and Dad, it wasn't me. It was me actually. Yeah. See, I'm still going with the story. I've already got it down.
It still wasn't me, guys. After I just admitted it, it wasn't me. That's something my sister would do to me.
Isn't it like a Shaggy song? It wasn't me.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Any final questions or thoughts for Rye?
No, I love you, man.
No,
I'm bummed you're leaving.
Yeah, Riley. Will you at least, if when you're not busy, will you at least let us fly us out there and get some drilling sessions with you, maybe?
Dude, anytime. You guys are always welcome. I got enough spare bedrooms for you guys anytime.
Let's go.
It's been fun in Arizona, but I'm going to really enjoy being in Dallas, Texas. I just want to say a quick thanks to my sponsors. They're the ones that are able to make this happen for me. So I'm sponsored by Discovery Land Company, which is actually properties throughout the whole world where I just travel around, hang with the members, play a little bit.
Yeah.
That's a 3-year partnership, so that's been really great.
Awesome.
Gamma Pickleball is my paddle. I got my own signature paddle, which is very good for control and feel. And then I'm sponsored as well by Takea. They've got our own big 64-ounce water bottle here.
Stay
and
hydrated.
it's got our names on it, so stay hydrated out there for a big tournament. Stainless steel, and Takea has been an amazing sponsor. So thanks again for having me, guys. I had a blast, and pickle on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And last thing, do you want to talk about your can we talk about your paddle sponsor coming up, or is there any news there?
Well, we'll see. Stay tuned.
Okay.
Stay tuned. There could be something in the works. I'm really enjoying playing with my Gamma paddle,
Okay.
but there's other things coming about, and so stay tuned. It's exciting news. So my Instagram is Riley Newman PB. Feel free to shoot me a follow.
Oh yeah,
Riley,
check out that blue check.
let's go. Riley, seriously, thanks so much, man. Wish you the best. I want to see you in that #1 spot, man.
Thank you,
I
bro.
want to see you excel.
I want to see you in Texas.
And I'm gonna start betting on you more, especially on mixed.
I know he's
Let's go, baby.
no gold medal Ben. I'm like, no, man. Come on, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?
Thank you, boys. I had a blast.
All right, man.
Yeah.